How's it going, you guys? So after being on a mostly carnivore diet since November 8th of 2018, I seem to have solved some of my severe food intolerances. So for those of you who've been following me for a while, you'll know that I actually developed severe food intolerances on a high-carb Mediterranean style diet, and then I realized that I had these problems when I went vegan back in 2014/2015. Basically, I suffered from psoriasis, irritable bowel syndrome, I couldn't breathe, I had all sorts of problems. Even though I was relatively fit and healthy by most people's standards, I had a lot of problems that I realized after being a vegan for about 1 year in 2014, 2015, I found out that it was actually coming from eating whole grains, beans, nuts, and seeds. So I had food intolerances that were triggering these autoimmune conditions. And I noticed anytime I would eat brown rice or beans or oatmeal, that I would break out in rashes and psoriasis and all sorts of problems. I would be itchy. I would basically shit all of these things out undigested, no matter how much I cooked them, no matter how much I chewed them, no matter what type of enzyme supplements I took. I would always see brown rice in my stool and all these things in my stool, right? And when I just cut out all the grains, beans, nuts, and seeds, and I went strict paleo, where I just ate fruit, some of the cooked vegetables, and meat, I noticed complete remission in my problems, right? And my symptoms. But the thing is, every time I tried to add those grains back in, I started experiencing the same problems. To the point where, at a certain point, I realized the only type of grain I could eat was white rice or white jasmine rice. Probably because the harder to digest outer layers of the whole, or whatever it is, the bran and everything was removed in the white rice. It was basically like pure starch. So it just was disintegrated by the enzymes in my saliva. So, that was back in 2014, 2015, where I realized I couldn't eat the whole grains, right? So I just kept trying to add them back in, while mostly eating a paleo diet, all the way until November 2018, where I just went completely carnivore. November 2018, really it was December 8th of 2018 was when I just completely removed all carbs and plant foods from my diet. And I did a 30-day carnivore challenge that I documented on YouTube, and I was amazed at how amazing I felt without eating any of the magical plant compounds or antioxidants or vitamin C or any of that. And then throughout 2019, I mostly stayed carnivore. I tried adding back in some fruit and stuff, and just noticed I didn't feel as good as when I was carnivore. At the same time, I was training jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting. So pretty much everything I was supposed to not do based on nutrition standards, I did. No carbs, no plants, trained hardcore, and I felt great, right? I even competed in Muay Thai on the carnivore diet in November of 2019. So that was like my 1-year anniversary, right? And I did kind of I ate some plant foods intermittently throughout that time, but I stayed mostly keto carnivore. Even on my trip to Las Vegas, I posted pictures, and I had a whole video vlog where I documented the things I ate. And it's crazy how hard it is to find just pure meat, when you go out to eat. It was pretty crazy. No restaurant just would serve me meat. It was really weird. I continued mostly following that carnivore, keto type of diet up until, I kind of tried the Ray Peat diet in 2020. 2020, I was experimenting more. So that was last year. I tried the Ray Peat diet and just it started ruining my teeth and all sorts of problems. Did various types of experiments with more plants and more carbs. So anyway, fast forward to about a week ago. For whatever reason, so keep in mind, I did not eat any brown rice or oatmeal since like 2015, despite, not including like the 1 or 2 days where I tried adding back a little bit in and then experiencing my flare-ups of autoimmunity. So I really haven't eaten these foods in like 5 years or whatever. And after being carnivore for so long, I have like this bucket, not a bucket, like this package of just plain quick oats from like years and years ago. And I decided to try it out. I decided, to try soaking it and try cooking it the next day. I don't know why I felt like doing it, but I did. And just see if I could digest it all of a sudden. So I put some quick oats, about a half a cup, in a Tupperware container, because my best friend gave me a bunch of Tupperware because he's moving out of his house. And I put some water in the Tupperware with the oats. And I put about a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar in it to see if maybe if I soaked it with vinegar, it would break down the food and make it more digestible, to break up the phytic acid and other things. And so I did that, left it in the fridge overnight, and I know you're supposed to leave it out, but whatever. And when I woke up, I ate it. I cooked it for like 2 or 3 minutes after soaking it. And I had no gas. Like I used to get ripping gas, like horrible like gas from eating oatmeal and brown rice because it just wouldn't digest. And just sit there fermenting in my damn intestine and it would rip me open, right? But not this time. I don't know if it was the soaking and sprouting. But I had tried that before. I even tried cooking into congee, and for some reason I still had problems back then. But no, this time I did not like poop out the oats undigested. I didn't see any signs of undigested oats in my stool. I did poop more. It bulked up my stool from the fiber. But I didn't see traces of food or anything abnormal in my stool like I used to. I didn't get the gas I used to get. I didn't get the just crazy gas that I used to get when I would consume oats or whole grains or anything. And I used to itch really bad when I would eat oats, but not this time. So I had no problems eating these oats. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that you should eat oats or anything like that. I'm just like amazed that removing all the fermentable carbs for so long seemed to have killed off. So I think that I had a gut infection. I honestly believe I had Sibo. I used to have yellow/white tongue. I used to have like undigested food in my stool, all the symptoms of Sibo. And after 3 years of being mostly ketogenic and mostly carnivore, I now am able to eat these oats with no problem. I also tried the same thing with brown rice. So I bought like just a tiny bag of brown rice for like 75 cents. And just brown rice, just basic stuff, not organic. So, could have pesticides and all that crap that people think are horrible for you. Which I'm not saying they're not, but... And I soaked it overnight with some apple cider vinegar. And then the next day, I ate brown rice. So I've been doing this now for like an entire week. Yeah, tomorrow it's going to be 1 week. And I have not noticed any problems. Now I will say, I actually did try the brown rice without soaking it first. And I did see some undigested brown rice in my stool the next day. But when I soak it with some apple cider vinegar, kind of like how Sally Fallon and Weston Price Foundation tells you that you need to do. when I prepare shit properly, I can digest it fully. But before I went carnivore, it didn't matter how I prepared it, what enzymes I took. If I remember taking expensive-ass probiotics, and that stuff did not solve the problem. But after like 2.5, 3 years, however long it's been, of being mostly keto carnivore and eating, and also probably the coconut oil, eating all that coconut oil. This is the protocol that these gut experts used to say, hey, that's what's going to kill off the candida overgrowth or the, Sibo. But I never wanted to believe that removing carbs could be a good thing. I was so scared of removing carbs. Eventually, when I did it to, for other reasons, I went keto to improve my sports performance and to make me feel better. Little did I know the coconut oil is obviously is antibacterial, and it will destroy candida and those bad pathogens in your gut. And then removing the carbs removes the food source of these bad bacteria. Little did I know that I was actually killing off the Sibo and healing my gut. And now I'm on the other side, and I used to eat tablespoons of coconut oil, all of the monolaurin and lauric acid that kills off these overgrowths, and being like virtually zero carb most of the time, despite being a hardcore athlete. And now all of a sudden I'm able to eat these grains for no problem, as long as I soak them and sprout them. But I still didn't have the horrible problems I used to have, even when I didn't soak the brown rice first. But I do recommend soaking it. So this is just an interesting observation. Okay, this is where I am right now. I am not telling anyone to do anything right now. I'm just sharing my experience. Because before, one day of eating brown rice or oatmeal would make me gassy. It would make me just have mental brain fog and all these problems, and I'd be shitting it out the next day. But I'm not even focusing on chewing right now, okay? And I'm still able to digest these things with no problems. Because I had a half a cup of oatmeal this morning, and I'm not farting up a storm like I used to. So anyway, this is something to really think about, especially because we have all of these people, especially vegan doctors, who claim carnivore is only going to make your food intolerances worse, or it's going to make your candida worse. All these problems people say about carnivore, I never had. Like Frank Tufano claimed that he had iron overload. I'm going to have to post a video about this, because I got my iron levels tested while on carnivore, actually about a month ago, and I fall within the middle of the healthy range of iron levels, even though I've been on carnivore for like three years almost, and I've been eating high red meat, high amounts of red meat for longer than that. So, and then the food intolerances just completely went away, which I thought for sure they were making it worse, but nope. So anyway, leave your question, comments down below. Let me know your experiences, and I will talk to you guys next time.